All right, here we go with video 7. 7. LOL. All right, now that we know how to make a null layer and what it does, how it basically groups things together and allows us to move them, scale them, and rotate them in tandem, we need to do this in our lower third template. So back in After Effects, we should have gotten rid of that parenting thing in the last video. We're now back to this in our timeline. Make sure that you are on the lower third template. And we are going to create down in here a new layer. So we're going to say layer, new, but we're going to make a new null object. So click on that. And notice that a new layer was added at the top of the stack and it says null, probably number 1 in your case. In our actual composition, it appears as a transparent box with some bounding points. And then we do see where our anchor point is located. So anything that we reference is going to be, or any positioning that we give it is going to be in reference to this spot on the square. So first thing we're going to do is come down here and select this null and then hit return so that we can rename it. And we're going to name this main parent and hit return again. All right, now what we want to do is we want to move this null object into place. What we want to do is not only have all of these layers move as a group, but also scale them in relation to this bottom right corner right down here. We're going to move our null box, specifically with its anchor point, down to this point in our gradient at this lower left corner. So before we do anything else, in our null, with that highlighted, let's type in letter P for position. And you know, in the real world, you'd be dragging it down there and these numbers would change. In the fake world, I have actual numbers for you, and they are 220, tab, 680. Notice now that the anchor point of this null item is in the lower left corner of this gradient. This is the actual lower third graphic. All right. We're going to go back to our timeline layers. We're going to click so nothing is selected, and we're going to marquee select all 3 of the layers that are not the main parent or that null. And just kind of note that we now have 3 columns here. This might be a little confusing. We have mode, track mat, and parent and link. So this is the column where we do the parenting, and right now they're parented to none. So we could do a drop down and choose the main parent. If you're wondering what this curly Q is, this is called the pickwhip. And because all 3 of these are highlighted, we can grab onto the pickwhip and pull it to the main parent. You see that blue line, and let go. And that changed all 3 of them. So if you feel like dragging a line over instead of dropping down a menu item, whatever floats your boat. That is the pickwhip. All right. So all 3 of these are now moving in relation to the main parent. So you can click to deselect those. All right, back in our composition, we want to activate the title and action safe guidelines. In After Effects, I think in Premiere they're over here, but in After Effects they're actually in the lower left corner over here by the view. Again, make sure you can see everything. 50% view is working great for me. The next icon over is choosing the grid, and we want to turn on title/action safe. So this is showing us where we have to keep our graphics inside to make sure that it works on all output, you know, TVs, YouTube screens, monitors, whatever. A shortcut for getting this to turn on and off is the apostrophe key. So I'm pushing it and it's going on and off. All right. Now that we have turned that on and we can see where our safe guides are, we're going to select the main parent layer again, our null layer, and we want to not only be able to see our positioning, we also want to see the scale values. So first thing we're going to do is change our horizontal position to 96. So that's going to be this first one. And then hit tab. That pulled it over. And then we're going to take our vertical and drop it down to 1026 and hit tab. Now notice how it's in this lower corner of the safe zone. So we've moved it down there. The last thing we want to do is, this is too big. This is really going to be covering a lot of things. We kind of want the lower third just to be down here, much smaller. So we're going to, I guess I didn't already do it, we need to turn on the scale. So with main parent still highlighted, shift letter S will add the scale. Maybe I had it on and turned it off. At any rate, your position should be 96, 10, 26, and then we want to scale it proportionately down to 65%. So type in 1, and because it's locked, the other will follow. And we've now shrunk it down. We can use the shortcut key of the apostrophe up in our composition window to get rid of our to get rid of our smart guides. And now we see what we need. I'm just going to point out something before I stop this video and move on, but you can see here, especially if you were to zoom in, but you can see the bounding box. Do you notice how this circle that you made extends up and beyond here, and it's not showing right now? Everything is being contained to this bounding box, but what we're going to do in our next video is we're going to replace this footage with, when we brought it in as merged. We're going to replace it with the layered footage, which is actually going to show us all of the individual layers from Illustrator so that we can actually animate these different circles. But for now, I am stopping. If you have a book, we are up to page 209.